TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Why did Patterson get it and not you?
They didn't like me.
Huh.
Basically,
Why?
I'm really not sure of the whole thing. It was probably a combination of things. If I remember right, the Intercontinental belt. When did that start?
79
Was it that late?
fictitious
Was it that early?
Rio de Janeiro tournament.
Yeah, 79, 80. I was Bruno's guy. He was really my mentor. You could say I really was his protege. McMahon and Bruno did not get along at all. Bruno can't stomach the McMahons. And
Even Vince Sr.?
No, he that's another long Bruno story, but he didn't. He could care less. He just used them for money.
You would figure that since the Garden was his moneymaker,
Vince Sr.
Bruno sells it out, he should be.
Vince Sr. would kiss Bruno's ass.
Uh-huh.
Bruno didn't kiss. No, Bruno was the man. So, but I think what happened was a combination of things. One, when me and Bruno were doing our thing, because of the situations the McMahons were in with, and then some things they were trying to do to me, because I wouldn't take shit. I wouldn't kiss ass, like one of my big problems in my career. And I wouldn't take shit. And as far as I was concerned, Bob Backlund was a flop. And when I was doing these shows with Bruno, they were selling out. Backlund wasn't drawing shit. But the McMahons had the cliche in their head, well, Bob's the champion. He should get more money. I said, Bob ain't worth jack shit. All he's got's a belt that you gave him.
Right.
So I should make more money. I don't give a how you do to keep the belt. So we had an argument about if I was a main event with Bruno, I make main event money. I don't care what you pay Backlund. But I'm not making less than Backlund.
Right.
Champ or no champ. So to make a long story short, which is in my book, I wound up kind of holding him up when I wouldn't wrestle until they gave me a whole bunch of cash up front. But then there's more to that story because I was kind of young. I didn't know how to do that. Someone else was telling me how to do that. That was remaining neutral, and the McMahons never knew.
Right.
But they probably put it together later. So there was a combination of them not wanting to deal with me because I was Bruno guy, and I wouldn't do at the time.
Who was advising you?
What they would tell me to do. You have to buy the book.
I was Dusty.
No. You think about everything I told you.
Right.
But back then, so I wouldn't play the game because I knew they didn't know what they were doing. They wanted puppets. I wouldn't be one. Plus, when me and Bruno got done with our angle, end of 1980, early 81, I think the old man was dead or about ready to die. But we didn't know it at the time. But the old school ended after that angle. That Shea Stadium basically marks the end of the old era, and it was the beginning of the new. A year or so after that, everything was different. There was no Brunos or Strongbos. It was all the Hulk Hogans and the Ultimate Warriors. It was all the characters. And, the old man died. Vince Jr. took over. And what Vince Jr. was into was the surrealistic characters, which got over real good for a while. But they were all the gassed up, larger than I refused to take steroids. I would not get involved with that. And none of the guys could wrestle. I mean, they couldn't do the craft we learned. All they could do was stand there with their arm out, and then they invented the clothesline back in the early 80s, and most of the guys that can't do nothing are still using it today.
Huh.
But so it was a combination of me not kissing butt, being Bruno's guy, and not shooting myself up with steroids to look like everybody else that he was pushing at the time.
TitleMatchNetwork.com.